Everybody, welcome back to the channel on this stormy weekend. Wow, what a weekend. Very, very stormy. Anyway, I have a few products I want to talk to you about and a little trip I did last night. Talk to you later. Welcome back, everybody. Do apologize for the crazy lights here. I need my glasses to read because today I want to talk to you about the Salon de Survivalisme. I have a hard time saying it. The survival show. In fact, the survivalism show. It's a very small show that we do every year. Program we do every year. Oh, they're doing every year. I'm visiting it. It's the second year I visited it, and actually I have their patch. One here, it's right here. This is it right here. This is their patches in Pearly, Switzerland. Actually, and this year they basically, no new patches. It's the same patch from last year. They didn't go all out on it, but I guess they had plenty of patches left over from last year. They were selling for like $10 each, so I didn't go that route. So anyway, went with a friend of mine, one of my participants also in some of my courses I've given actually. And she and I went up there last night and spent a good couple hours walking around, meeting and greeting people. And for me, it's always a pleasure to get to see a lot of faces I haven't seen before, but haven't seen in a long time, excuse me. And last night, I had a really good couple of meetups, actually, last night. And one of them was a guy from Innova. And this is his card. Okay? Innova. And his name is Simon Schefer. And he's here in Switzerland, and he works with a lot of outdoor survival prepping type of stuff. And this is what this show is talking about. Now, I made videos last year. I made like a picture collage last year. You can see the videos down below if you look at my video collection. And I didn't do that this year. I sort of just stuck to walking around, meeting and greeting people. And he was on an outdoor booth, and we had a really good conversation for a good long time, he and I did. And he represents several companies and several brands, I should say. And one of them is Innova, and they're the same company that makes Trek and Eat rations, okay, out of Germany. And so he represents them here in Switzerland, and he gave me some things to try out. Now, I tried this BPER, emergency ration, food ration. It's 9 bars, 500 grams, 9,930 calories, kgs. 2,375 calories. And it's these little blocks of food. And what they do is they basically explain to me how it works. This is the name of it right here. This is how it looks inside the packaging. Right here, and on the back, they give you some ways you can prepare it, And so what I did last night, I've had some experience with some of these kind of bars before, which I didn't like, but this one, I got to taste it last night, and it's really good. What they do is they put this mix of different kinds of things together, and they form like a potato paste. I would say looks like mashed potatoes. Then they compress it really hard together, and then they bake it. And then it comes out these little small bars in a little individual packaging. I'll open one up for you and show you how it looks. Like I said, he gave me several of these boxes, and this one was made in this year, actually. It's good to 2027, so 7 years this thing could be packed away. It's in a little small, this is how it looks, it's in a brick. So you can get rid of this right here if you don't need it. You want to cut down some weight. And inside of it are these small packages. And yeah, opening it is, these things are, this is sealed, And you can see the packaging. There are 9 bars in here. But no, I'm not going to open it. Why open it right now? I'll do another video on this right here a little bit later. But this is what he gave me. 2 of these boxes right here. And he even offered one to my friend who was with me. I don't think she took it, but I think he offered it to her. And then he also offered me, and he offered me a bunch of these, but I took just one because I'm a pretty humble guy. I don't need the. And this is a vegetarian right here. Is kana masala, which is chickpea curry with rice. And this is how it looks like in this container. And you can hear it. This is it right here. It's 625 grams, 5 portions in here. And this is a vegetarian meal, 15-year shelf life. You can see here on the bottom, it's written out. And it's gluten-free, it's vegan, and lactose-free. Because a lot of people do have lactose problems in today's age, actually. And it goes through all the information within it right here. It says right here in English, Kana masala chickpea curry with rice. Ingredients, long grain rice, 50%, chickpeas, 22%, sugar, onions, apple pieces, capsicum. This must be spicy. Metodexim seasoning contains celery. Curry contains mustard, salt, paprika powder, chili powder, rosemary extract. Directions: stir contents into 1,250 milliliters of boiling water and simmer for approximately 10 minutes. There we go. And that's how you make it. So I'm going to try some of this out a little bit later and do a review of these two long-term survival, storage rations. And he sells this in a huge box. And the box actually is not for free, but you have 15 years of, for one person, I think the way it works, it's at one person, 30 days is 1 month each box, actually. And I think it's 300 and something bucks is what it is. So you can store them for 15 years, like I said, 300 and something bucks. You can, that's a lot of boxes for one. That's 12 boxes a year. So you could order these out and there are lots of different menus, and you can find these on his website, which is Innova, and Innova, and you can find this out. And like I said, there's a little, this is the German address right here for the main company, and then this is Switzerland. I'll put it back up on there again for you. You don't want to have it, check it out. You can email him directly. Really nice guy. He was there last year before, and I didn't really get a chance to talk to him last year. This year I got to talk to him, and he's such a nice guy. And he'd overheard me talking to my friend from a distance, and we were talking, and it was in a little square area, so he heard the conversation bouncing off the walls. That I was looking for an insulated water bottle for work, and he gave me one. These things normally, he had them, they were selling for $20 for the special thing. It's a clean canteen, insulated. You can see on the back right here, and it's got Innova, and he gave me one. I was so, this thing is, I put ice cold water in it last night, and let me see, I don't know, this is many hours later. Still nice and cold, so that really hits the spot, and that's what I needed. I had one of these from another company maybe, and when I moved, I lost it. I don't know where it's at. It's in my thing somewhere. But this right here is really good, and I definitely want to thank Simon for this right here. It's really nice, and there you go. So I'm going to come back to these things more in individual videos later on, but I want to talk to you more about the Salon from last night. So we get there, pay our ways in, we get in there, and we even had a nice sausage. They had some really nice sausage with mustard and some bread and some pickles and stuff, very, very traditional Swiss. So we had that before we left, but we walked around, and some of the same businesses were there from last year. And if you go to the Salon de Survivalisme in Pearly, you can get a list, and I have the list. I just forgot it in the kitchen. Anyway, but and there were some interesting people I've known for a long time, hadn't seen in a while, that were there, from Pinewood to, well, DXT. DXT is a company I helped open up as their first manager many years ago, and yeah, there were a lot of them around. There was even there was a guy I've known for a long time also who has a knife company. There were several of them that was there. And yeah, and some survival prepper stuff, a little bit less from last year, but actually more booths this year, enough to where they actually extended it to another part of the Salon, which is really cool. So they had probably, I would say, 5 extra booths this year. So it's heating up, getting more and more people involved. I think that's fantastic. Hopefully this thing, by next year, it doubles in size and a lot more people there. I wouldn't mind doing it myself one year. Later on in the future, once I've gotten some a little bit more capital behind me. I could go there right now and sell the stuff I have online, but Anyway, I went around and did some meet and greet and tried to do some patch exchanging. I did one guy who had a patch, total belief in the objective is a SAC your EDC, and he's a guy I've known for 20 years in Switzerland in the outdoor market also, and he and I exchanged patches, and then I met. It was funny because it was really shockingly funny. But a guy comes to me and goes, "Hey, I know you," and I was like completely just. Okay, yeah, probably from where I used to work because I've worked in lots of shops and that kind of stuff, and over the 26 years in Switzerland, outdoor shops, military, police, security, outdoors, this kind of stuff, survivalism, camping, this kind of stuff. And he goes, no, it's from your videos. So he knew me from these videos that I make for you guys. It really shocked me. I was really taken aback by that and just so humbled so much. By that, and I gave him a patch. It was really nice of him, and thanked him for following me on YouTube. And I want to thank you again for following me on YouTube, and I want to thank all of you for following me on YouTube. And I appreciate if you continue getting the word out there. But it was a nice shock, and I was really happy to see my buddy from Pinewood. Marthaus Bart, he was there. He made it. I know he had put out a video. He'd had some problems with his car, and he had to basically almost had to cancel going to the Salon this year, having his booth there because his car broke down. He had to move the money there, but people came through and really helped him, and I really want to thank all of you guys for doing that. I told him, hey, if it'd come down to it, I would have gotten you and driven up there myself over the weekend, and we could have just hung out together. But luckily, that didn't happen. Luckily for him, I guess, hang out with me all weekend. But it was good to see him there, and like I say, see other participants that were there participating in it. And the place was getting pretty hot. I saw a lot of people I haven't seen in a long time, so it's growing. And I hope that all those of you who are in France, Germany, Swiss area, really start going there and visiting. There's a lot of information there. There was one booth, and it's probably one of the things I spoke about, and I had spoken about with my friend who I drove up there with. And that is that, people need to start preparing yesterday for what there could happen in the future. I mean, there's a lot of talk about Germany possibly crashing in its markets here soon, and the United States is heading that way. And so you need to have already begun planting gardens in your garden. Get rid of all those rose bushes and all those pretty flowers and stuff, and get those fruit trees planted. Get your garden going and get used to gardening and canning. And these people have been doing it for 20 years here in Switzerland and in France, and they are well on their way to being able to sustain a couple of years, if not longer, if something were to happen economically and people had no more money and had to provide for themselves, bartering, this kind of stuff. This is going to be another video, another thing we'll talk about also later. But anyway, get back to the program. I had one negative thing to say about the entire show, and that was one of the participants that were there. I'm not going to say who they were, but I like to go around trading patches. And I know it probably is presumptuous of me thinking that, okay, if you trade a patch, somebody, they're going to give you a patch. And that wasn't the goal. I mean, for me, I want to get my name out there, and I use my patches as like my calling card. And because it has my business name on it, you can see it right here in the back, that little red, white Swiss, the mountains of the Swiss, and it has Helvetia Bushcraft, which is the name of my my website and my other YouTube channel. But the guy said, well, I can't give you one, but I'll talk to the owner. And the owner was right across, and he was probably hearing the whole conversation. And then he refused to exchange. I said, well, you keep the patch, don't worry about it, And the reason why they refused to exchange patches was because they said, well, we have just enough for all of our members. When he opened the box up, there had to be at least, 100 to 200 patches, probably 200 patches inside this box. And I was thinking, you expect 200 members of your club, which if you go online, it's a non, they don't make any money, they claim, as members of their club, this kind of stuff. But you expect people to 200 members to show up this weekend. I hope they did for that club's sake. But at the same time, I thought it was very I think they're a little bit too overwhelmed in themselves, too hung up on themselves, and they have a lack of humility, because I give classes to people for free who can't afford it, trying to help people. I have many times had paying customers come in, pay serious prices for my courses, and then at the same time, I would invite people who didn't have the money who to come in also, unbeknownst to the paying customers, because I'm not screwing them over. It's just that I'm trying to also help out other people. Since I'm giving the class, and if I have room in front of me, why not, invite a few people. I also work with the scouts, just kind of like that, and youth organizations, and over the years. So I'm not bragging, but what I'm saying is that, you want to give back a little bit to those that you're taking from, okay? You want to make sure you give back to them. And that's why usually people who come to my courses, they stick with me, and they don't pay for other courses later on. Or if I even give the same course again, I'll say, listen, I'll invite them to come in. Come in. You don't have to pay. Just come take the course again, because I want to make sure that I'm always afraid that someone's not getting their value, and what they're really looking for. So that's why I'm always open for any kind of question, and I don't go out of my way. I'll give you a good example of that. When I took a Ray Mears course 18 years ago, as we were hiking one day with the instructor, we pointed out something that we'd seen. I think it was some mushrooms, and he said, "Well, you got to take the second class. We can't discuss that with you." And I thought that was ridiculous, because I paid a pretty good penny for the first class, and I was thinking, well, if we're on our way, something we could just discuss while we're walking, but they weren't allowed. So it's just not how I operate, how I work. And when I see people, in a lack of humility across the board, and I saw that, I was like, well, why are you're basically just doing this for money? Then if you got to be only a member of their club to obtain one of their patches, And I understand if you're taking courses and there's a course patch, this I understand, because that's a little bit more limited. I know the Pathfinder, look, I served in the Army, and you didn't run around with a Ranger tab if you didn't earn it, You didn't run around with airborne wings if you didn't earn them, So I understand that, but at the same time, you want to earn the badge, and they're presenting a course, and so you're paying for it. I give my patches out to all my participants, who come to my classes. I also give these patches out to people whom I meet and greet. I gave out a bunch of patches last night, and I do this because people come to me and say hello, and we talk a little bit, and I get to know people, or people that I know already, and I want to advance. Like I said, it's a calling card, but at the same time, I'm not sitting there saying, listen, I'd like to give you a patch, but I can't because, you didn't pay for it, I do sell these patches online, and some people, and people can buy them if they want to, but if you order something from me, I throw a patch in their box, so I've been doing this since the beginning. So, I'm not trying to cheat anybody out of anything, but at the same time, I'm trying to recover a little bit of what I paid for them. And I do want to get another series going here pretty soon too, hopefully before the end of the year, a new order for patches, but a little bit, maybe the same, but a different color, maybe in green or something like that. But anyway, that's beside the point. Point I'm trying to make to you right now is that I felt a little bit, ashamed, because that's not what I'm about in our community, and that's what I didn't think our community was about. But when they were basically a survival thing, and I don't teach survival skills. I teach skills that you can use every day or in the forest, and the more you have here, the less you got to have back there on your back, and that's how I look at it. So I teach people about preparedness, but something that, like I said, in a preparedness in a way that that you're going to do, that's going to be long, for a long time. Survival for me is someone walks into a shop that you're in, and they pull a shotgun out, and they threaten to start killing everybody, and if you have to react to that. So that's what survival is: a reaction to your environment, a reaction to what's happening in your environment. You have to survive, okay? And the first key thing about survival is stop, think, observe, and plan. So if you've already done all that beforehand, it sort of cuts it out. It's like a boxer, if you've been hit a bunch training, you're less likely to be shocked when you get hit in the ring. So you'll be able to take that punch and then try to move forward. And if you haven't done that time on the mat, or that time in the boxing ring, or you haven't trained and educated yourself, you're going to go into shock, and then you're going to be on survival, and you're not going to be, the chance of you surviving all that is going to be a lot less, and that's across the board. So anyway, I was a little bit, like I said, perturbed last night when I saw that, when I had that conversation. The guy was very nice. It wasn't his fault. It's something that the president or the owner of this organization, whom I thought that, you know what, I'll never want to be a part of something like that, because to me it's a greater responsibility than just doing it the way he's doing. If you want to buy some stuff, you want to sell some stuff, you want to make some money, that's on the side. I do that too. I hope people come to my course and listen, hey, I saw on your website a sling bag or a backpack or a pouch or whatever, can I pick up one of those? And I sell it to them. I don't not sell it to them. Yeah. So that's also name of the game too. You want to make some money, but I'm not trying to rob from people either. And I'm definitely not trying to be what we call the keeper of the badge or the keeper of the key or something like that, to where if you don't pass through me, there's no getting it, and you have to show humility across all of this. And I just thought that was a little bit shameful, especially someone who's got a company who's selling stuff right next to it. And then it's just, and look, nothing against him, nothing against his company, but a lot of the stuff he was selling was a bunch of poo-poo also. I mean, I don't need Tonto knives and huge this and that, and all this kind of stuff. When you go to somebody else, my idea is a lot different when it comes to all this, and I try to get this across in my videos. So anyway, do apologize for my little rant. I want to. This is basically what I did last night, and I will make some videos about these, because I'm going to try them out and try them out with you, and I'm going to cook some of these out here up and see how they work and how they taste. And then I've got a camping trip. It got canceled this weekend. Family rich situation, not mine, but my partner, some of my buddies, they just weren't able to get it because of the situation. It's the new year and actually a new month, and they had a lot going on, and children and family. So I understand that. So I live alone, so I don't have all these things blocking me. It's just getting out there, I guess. But and so anyway, but I do apologize. The weather is appalling, but it's a great time to be out also, because you can enjoy yourself to a certain level. But it is pretty bad weather this weekend, pretty rainy, pretty wet. And being out there by myself, I'm like, I got things to do at home, so I'll do them at home. Being a little bit lazy this weekend. And I'm about to start my new job. I have a new job starting up this next week, so I'm sort of trying to get things sort of prepared for that. So anyway, thanks again for coming to the channel. I'd appreciate it if you'd give a thumbs up, like, share, subscribe, and if you have any comments, leave it below, because I definitely want to hear what you got to say about all this. And if you were there last night and I met you and I talked to you, I spoke to you, please leave me a little word down below also. And I'd like to hear from you. And if you're that company, I'd like to hear from you too. I mean, look, this is your chance. I don't like calling people out, but I have to call you out, because I think that you're going against what this is all about. And I think that's the problem. You're either working to help people, and from what I saw last night, that wasn't working to help people. That was just showing a lack of humility. Yeah, we're talking about a patch here, but you know what? The way your answer, your response for me is what told me everything. Okay, and I could care less. Your patch is not going to go up there. All right, it's not going to be in my videos. It's not going to be shared with friends. If you see here people who sent me patches, none of them even asked for a patch back. And I sent them patches, okay, back. None of them asked me for patches back, These guys, they didn't ask me for patches, back, So, but they still got one. I want to thank you. You guys have a good weekend. And God bless you. And today's my birthday. So, 54. I know, the beard, I look very young, so. Thanks again. You guys have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you very soon. Goodbye.